From making t-shirts to making names for other people, we're joined now by Chad Paris. Thanks for joining us, Chad.
Thanks, Matt. Glad to be here.
So you've seized opportunities, found your purpose, created an ideal work environment, but what sacrifices have you made to get to where you are right now?
Money. At first, and even if you look at like kind of an average over the years, I could be making so much more money going to work for somebody else. But I wouldn't get as much fulfillment every single day. It is not why I was put on this planet, is to help other people achieve their dreams. We do that through working with our clients. But more than anything else, and this was a great lesson that I learned early on, probably one of the first lessons my dad taught me when we finally opened our own doors. He said to me, "Son," he didn't say it like that, but he said, "If you do what you love, the money will follow." And so we just decided to focus on doing what we love. And it's funny, I love when people say, how did you create this thing that's been so successful for 9 years? It hasn't been successful for 9 years. It's probably been successful for maybe like 6 or 7. We have made some money along the way, but I'd say it hasn't become like really fully sustainable and like a solid, healthy business operation until maybe 2-3 years ago. So it took some time. The other thing that I've sacrificed at times is also my own happiness. At times there was what we called Parasleeve 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. 1.0 was this amazing culture and a lot of people who had no idea what we were doing. 2.0, we realized, was in order to make this thing sustainable, we had to find really talented people. And we were hoping that they would also be really passionate and lovely about what they were doing, and they weren't. And 3.0, which is something we never thought we'd be able to get to, we thought it was going to take a room full of unicorns, and we've gotten there, is people who are super passionate and love what they're doing. So at times, particularly in 1.0, had to sacrifice money, and 2.0, sacrifice happiness. 3.0, I don't know if I'm sacrificing anything. I mean, I get to come to work every day and do what I love with people that I truly love, that I would run through walls for. And I've surrounded myself with people that I know they would run through walls for me too. Not because I pay them to, but because they really believe in me and they believe in what we're doing as a company.
Exactly how much money did it take to start that business?
So a pretty small amount of money, actually. It was enough to get a business license, and I think it was like 120 or 150 bucks. Fortunately, I had my sugar mama who was working at the university. She was a graduate assistant. She had a full ride for her graduate program. And so that really helped kind of pay our base bills. Used some student loans to help with kind of keeping us afloat for a while. And then got a loan from family, friends, and fools that probably added up to all of maybe 10 grand or something like that. So $10,000 is a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to business, it's not a lot to get a business up and running. I mean, it's really next to nothing. But that didn't come until way later on down the road when we had really exercised all of our options.
You've taken out that loan. Your then girlfriend, now wife, and you are in this together. But was there ever a time you wanted to quit?
Absolutely. I mean, there have been many times over the years, less so more recently, that we've wanted to quit, obviously. But I'd say after doing this for maybe about 1.5 years, we were ready to throw in the towel. We had really been grinding away and doing everything that we possibly could to make this a financially sustainable business, and it just wasn't going well. I remember we had just finished a drought that was probably, I don't know, maybe 1.5 months, 2 months long, which at the time was forever. And I finished a day at work. Actually, I take it back, I didn't finish the day. It was about 4 o'clock, and which was really unusual to leave work at about 4 o'clock p.m. considering we used to work till midnight. But I felt like I had just had this shit kicked out of me, and I said to Allison, it's not coming together. I want to go home, And so we ended up going home and curled up in bed in fetal position. and really felt like I can't do this. I'm done, and I'm not going to be able to turn this thing into a sustainable business. And I think what hurt more than anything else wasn't the loan, because I knew that we would pay it back. It wasn't the even necessarily the employees, though. Actually, that was probably number two. But the first thing was that I had made a promise to my wife's dad that we were going to make this thing sustainable, and we couldn't. And I had so much shame thinking about calling him and telling him that we were going to have to close our doors. So we were on a walk one day, or that day, and talking about, basically who are we going to call first, and talking about the shame that we had around failing. And we're walking the dogs, and all of a sudden we come around this corner in Hale, and we run into this older couple, and our dogs kind of start jumping all over them. And my wife starts talking to this gentleman's wife, and the guy looks at me, and without skipping a beat, he says, "What do you do?" Didn't even ask for my name, just, "What do you do?" And I said, "Oh, well, I own a printing company, do a little bit of design, some web and things like that." And without skipping a beat again, he goes, "Good, don't quit." And here we are on this walk talking about how we're going to quit. And then he says to me, "And don't go into debt." And probably from start to finish, that conversation lasted maybe 30, 45 seconds, or at least what felt like 30, 45 seconds. And I felt like I just went into this like time warp of life. It was like, here we were on this walk talking about how we were going to throw in the towel. I do want to add that, and this is important for me, but I don't care what anybody else believes. That is not my purpose in adding this, but I had prayed that morning. I was so desperate, and I said, "Please help me." And what I meant was, give me money. That guy was an answer to my prayer, and what the universe, or whatever you want to call it, gave me back instead was a life tool, as opposed to money. Because money would have only created a bridge that would have lasted maybe another month until it was time to be in that place of desperation again. This life lesson I learned was the most important life lesson I've learned in life or in business, that if anything is worth it, that if you're passionate about anything you do, then just take quitting off the table. Take it out of your mind as an option altogether. Just get it out of your mind. So the next day, I actually went to a conference. It was a Dave Ramsey conference called EntreLeadership. And I remember being invited to this thing, and I had invited a client of mine, and I couldn't tell him that I couldn't go. Keep in mind, we had just had this conversation with this older gentleman, and I thought, I have enough energy for maybe another 24 hours of work. Like, I hope this is it. But I couldn't tell my client that, hey, I can't show up to this thing because I spent all your money, and I can't afford to get in. So I called the guy up who's organizing the thing. He said, "Listen, don't worry about it. I'll invoice you." And end up showing up to this conference. But again, here I am thinking, I need to be working right now. I need to be on the phone right now. I need to be grinding right now. And learned some incredible lessons that day. But at the end of the day, Dave Ramsey, he starts to close the thing out, and he says to everybody, I don't know what kind of entrepreneur you all are. I don't know why you were put on this planet, but if you were born to be an entrepreneur, if this is part of every fiber of your being, if you know that this is why you were put on this planet, I am begging you, do not quit. Don't quit. Don't you dare quit. I need you. Your company needs you. Your country needs you. Don't you dare quit on me. And he's like screaming at the top of his lungs. Anybody seen Dave Ramsey? It's just total nut job. And then he wraps with, "And don't go into debt. Thank you." And walks off the stage. And I'm like sobbing in front of my client. And I called the team up and I said, "We're not quitting. We're not going to throw in the towel. It is not an option. We're going to figure it out."